Hey Diane, welcome back. We're excited today to give you the complete proposal for our internship initiative. Today I have the whole team with me and we're going to walk you through the complete proposal and at the end give you the opportunity to sign with us and ask any questions you may have. And we're going to go ahead and get started.
Thanks, looking forward to it.
All right, so to start us off, we're going to go through the task analysis. April, if you want to go ahead and start there.
Hey, Diane. So the purpose of this training is to establish a more efficient internship program at the USG System Office. The program aims to enhance the recruitment process and provide an organized orientation and fill gaps in critical areas like procurement and IT. This initiative will benefit both the USO and the student interns, potentially leading to long-term positions. So the task analysis, we have 6 goals based on Bloom's taxonomy. Sorry, y'all. Goal number 1 is knowledge. Goal 2 is comprehension. Goal 3 is application. Goal 4 is analysis. Goal 5 is synthesis. And goal 6 is evaluation.
Thanks.
So for our objectives, for each performance level, we have a task, a condition, and a criteria. So for knowledge, the task is to identify internship placement, project supervisors, and job description. The condition for this will be the intern should have access to relevant resources such as internship databases, organizational directories, and job descriptions. The criteria for knowledge should be that the intern successfully list at least 3 potential internship placements, their corresponding project supervisors, and the key elements of the job descriptions demonstrating a clear understanding of these aspects. For comprehension, the task should be to discuss the organizational procedures of the USO, its culture, and internship expectations and responsibility. The condition is the intern should have access to the USO's internal documents and may conduct interviews or meetings with organizational members. The criteria for comprehension will be to provide a comprehensive and accurate overview of the USO's organizational procedures, cultures, and internship expectations and responsibilities with clear and relevant details. For application, the task should be to develop a clear and detailed internship program outline, including a structured schedule, learning objectives, and a timeline. The condition for application should be that the intern should have access to templates and guidelines for program outlines and should work closely with their project supervisor. The criteria should be to produce an internship program that outlines and includes a structured schedule, specific and measurable learning objectives, and a realistic timeline that is well organized and aligns with the organizational goals. For analysis, the task is to analyze job performance based on expectations and job description. The condition is the intern should have access to their job description and regular performance feedback from their supervisor. The criteria is to conduct a thorough analysis that compares their actual job performance to the expectations and responsibilities outlined in the job description. Identifying strengths and areas of improvement. For synthesis, they should be able to create a portfolio documenting knowledge, skills, and resources gained in this role. The condition is the intern should have access to a portfolio template and materials they've collected during their internship, and they should be able to develop a comprehensive portfolio that showcases the knowledge and skills and resources gained during their internship. For evaluation, they should be able to evaluate the success of the internship program, including intern satisfaction, skill development, and perceived impact on the organization. The condition is that the intern should have access to satisfaction surveys, self-assessment data, and feedback from project supervisors and colleagues. For the criteria, they should provide a well-structured evaluation that includes feedback on intern satisfaction, an assessment of skill development, and a reflection on the perceived impact of the internship on the organization, supported by evidence and data.
Thanks, April. I really do like the comprehensive approach to the objectives. It was very well thought out. especially like the idea of having the structure we lack so much right now, and having the ability to make sure we're on track with the evaluation process at the end of that. So, yeah, this looks good.
Thank you. For the testing materials, for each one of Bloom's, we have a task, an objective, and then the actual test item of how we will evaluate. So for knowledge, they should be able to define key terms related to their internship project, supervisors, and the job descriptions. We want them to be able to recognize and recall important terminology. And the way we'll actually test this is to provide definitions for internship, project supervisor, and job description. For comprehension, their task should be to develop a clear and detailed internship program outline, including a structured schedule, learning objectives, and a timeline. To do this, they should be able to create an internship program outline that includes daily schedules, specific learning objectives, and a timeline for a 10-week internship with the USO. For application, we'll develop a clear and detailed internship program outline, including a structured schedule, learning objectives, and a timeline. They should be able to apply knowledge and create a real structured internship program. Provide a written analysis of the intern's performance, comparing their actual performance to the stated expectations and job description, identifying areas of alignment and potential improvements. For synthesis, create a portfolio documenting knowledge, skills, and resources gained in the role. Synthesize the information and experiences gained during the internship into a comprehensive portfolio. So they can do this by compiling a multimedia portfolio that includes documents, photos, videos showcasing the knowledge and skills and the resources that they've gained during this internship. The evaluation stage should be able to create that portfolio documenting their skills, knowledge, and resources. They should be able to combine the portfolio that they began working on during the synthesis stage.
This sounds good.
Hi, Diane, and I want to welcome you again and thank you for this opportunity. It's been such a pleasure to just present this specialized training delivery methods and models to you. So our focus today will be on the synchronous learning, a model we believe aligns seamlessly with the requirements and alongside an overview of the asynchronous option. So the first thing that we're going to do is delve into the synchronous online learning. So the model is about live interactive sessions conducted online, enabling real-time engagement between participants and trainers. And it also mirrors the traditional classroom setup, but is executed virtually. So it's facilitating a rich and collaborative learning experience despite where everyone is located. Now, the advantage of that, what makes synchronous learning ideal for your needs, Diane, is its capability and capacity for immediate interaction and community building. It offers a live classroom and the efficiency of digital platforms. And we can also record these sessions, ensuring no key learning is missed. But as a complementary option for the asynchronous learning, we can have pre-recorded sessions. That way, the interns have this ability to assess it at their convenience. And this model could serve as a complementary approach, providing flexibility for those with varying schedules. So just comparing both of them, while we recognize your preference for the interactive nature of the synchronous learning, then we also appreciate the value of the asynchronous in offering flexibility and ensuring just a comprehensive coverage. So we're just, presenting you with both options.
I appreciate that, Natasha. I think it's a good good solution. I also appreciate the way you've talked about the learning, just the learning environment itself and the importance of collaboration, and that's what we've been lacking. We haven't really had a kind of a cohort type approach to this. So I think that's what you're talking about. I especially like the fact that you talked about the ability to record because not everybody could be present at those times. So those are things I, need to be thinking about as well.
I'm glad to hear that. And so let's talk about the cost of that. So considering the cost, the synchronous model, which aligns with your interests based off of the meeting prior, is estimated about $6,520. In comparison, the asynchronous model is is $8,320. Both are structured to provide an effective and comprehensive learning journey. But of course, understanding your preference, we believe that the synchronous model is a perfect match for your program, the objectives, and just providing an engaging and interactive learning experience.
Yep.
So just tailoring the internship program, our recommendation of the synchronous model is based on its alignment with your specific goals and preferences. However, we can remain flexible to integrate elements of the asynchronous learning to best serve the internship's unique needs. Right now, do you have any questions based off of just the cost or the different options? Again, I know you're leaning towards the synchronous, but I just wanted to provide you with both.
Yep, I know. I like the idea of having some flexibility between the two. I hadn't thought about that too. So I think that's good. I think, no, having these and then I'll be able to really take a look at them and present it to my internal team as well. That would be the next steps for me. But yes, I am leaning towards the synchronous at this point. But you presented some other interesting options as well as looking at some integration of both potentially too. So thank you for including that.
Okay, thank you so much. And if you have any questions or anything that you would like to discuss to just kind of customize the solution for the internship program, please let us know.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, Diane. So we have gone ahead and based on this plan, come up with some lesson plans that will span the 10-week training program. First, I want to go over the content of the plan. So we have instructional strategies. We're going to go over some media that we'll use to support both student and their types of learning. We have some information to help guide the student and to help guide the facilitators of the interns. And at the end, we have a formative evaluation summary that we're going to go over with you. So like I said previously, we do have 6 of these lessons. I'm going to go over one with you, and all of them follow a similar structure. If you would like to see more, I can go over as many as you would like. We have divided this in sort of 2 different time periods. The first 3 lessons are geared more toward prepping the intern, and the last 3 are more following up, checking in on the intern. So this does span 10 weeks, with the first 3 being more at the beginning of that 10-week period. So for example, our second lesson that we have for you is understanding the USO. This is based on what you saw previously with the task inventory and the objectives. So first, we want to always gain their attention, who we're presenting to. So the facilitator can ask student the question, why do you want to be an intern for the USO? Why did you choose us? And we have the teacher and the student action, what each role should be doing during this time. The objective, which we went over previously, for this particular lesson is to demonstrate understanding of the USO's organizational procedures, culture, and the internship expectations. So this is simply just the teacher showing the students the objective of the lesson. To engage their prior knowledge, we are going to give them a concept map where they can brainstorm the basic USO background. And this can be something that we provide them, or they can come up with their own concept map that works for them. The content of this lesson would be that students will view a video presentation of current employees, and the video will be an introduction to the culture. So interviews with current employees, the procedures that they go through daily for their own job, and the current functioning of the USO. For guided practice, students will work with a partner to discuss the culture, procedures, and functions of the USO, just to make sure that they understand what the video showed them, bounce ideas off of each other, check for understanding with a partner. Then to practice this more independently, students will list 2 aspects of the culture, procedures, and functions of the USO that stuck out to them. They will then write a short paragraph about how they will positively contribute to those aspects of the USO. We then want to get feedback from the lesson or give the students feedback so they can share their favorite or most important aspect with the class and how they feel they will contribute to that aspect. The teacher obviously will be guiding and facilitating this discussion and pulling out maybe more information as needed from the students. To assess their understanding, students will be given a list of scenarios, and students will explain if the situation might positively or negatively impact the culture and or the established procedures and functions of the USO. And then to close, the teacher will review the scenarios and lead the discussion with the students as they present what they found during the assessment. So that is one example of a lesson. Like I said previously, each of the lessons sort of follow that same basic outline. Do
Okay.
you have any questions about this?
No, this looks really good. Can you explain a little bit more about the concept map? I'm not quite sure I know what a concept map is in terms of what they would do. I'm just curious.
Sure. So this is just a way for them to organize their own thoughts.
Okay.
Instead of just brainstorming and jotting things down on paper, it would be a more structured approach.
Okay.
So there could be organized boxes where they can make hierarchies of information.
Oh, okay.
So it's just a more organized approach to brainstorming.
Yeah, it sounds creative and a little more fun, interactively speaking. And there's a lot of interactive yet independent work in this too, which I really like as well. So thank you.
Correct. And we can go on to discuss.
So these are all the other lessons that that was an example, and these are the
That was an
I get it.
example,
I'm getting it
yes.
now. So
And
I
you
can
can
look
see
through
each of
these.
these, yes,
Okay.
and each of these follow that same basic format of
Okay.
gaining attention, prior knowledge, content, etc.
Yeah, like it's easy to follow. Thank you.
And the media that we will be using, we want to support the students who are visual learners, audio learners, and kinesthetic learners. And so we have slides presentations for our visual learners, graphic organizers such as the concept map, chart paper for a walk around activity, a video presentation, and there is a Padlet that is more of an interactive approach. For audio, we'll also be using video presentations, slide presentations from the teacher, and obviously discussions are more auditory processing. And then for our kinesthetic learners who like hands-on approaches and moving around the room, we have incorporated a walk around the room activity where they can actually create a daily schedule for themselves in a Google Calendar. We have a role-playing activity for one of the lessons, resume building, which will be part of their portfolio that was mentioned earlier, and an evaluation form that is more hands-on.
Great. Lots of good stuff there. especially like the resumes. That's what this is all about, right? Helping students be successful in the future
Exactly.
careers. Great.
We want them to turn this experience into a portfolio with a resume that they can use in their future.
Yeah, this is great.
And more supporting media. We have, for types of learning, we have Google Slides that correspond to knowledge. For comprehension, a video presentation of culture. For application, they're Google Slides and Google Calendar. For analysis, they have a role-playing activity. For synthesis, we want them to create a resume and portfolio using a template. that will be provided to them. And then for evaluation, we also have an evaluation form template for them to complete at the end of the internship program.
Great.
Any questions about any of the media?
Not at this time, but thank you very much.
Also included in our program will be a table of contents that will help guide the student so they know exactly which page to go to help them find the information that they're looking for. For example, if they are working on module 1 and they would need the link to the culture video, they can go to page 13 to find that link. So we have the table of contents for the student, and on the next slide, we have one for the teacher. So whoever is leading the program can easily find guides and support that they may need to help them teach and facilitate each lesson.
That sounds good.
Did you have any questions about any of the lessons?
Yeah, the lessons look very comprehensive and something I think as an intern, given we do nothing now, will be very helpful to them and helping
Yes.
them build their portfolios and getting through to be able to, you know, be successful in their future. So it's helpful. Thank you.
Good, that is our goal.
Mhm.
At the end, we'll have a formative evaluation summary. So we have looked for problems, data sources, and revised as needed. So for example, we did find in the instructional strategies that we had a lot of information that was confined to students listening to the instructor. So we tried to incorporate more kinesthetic and practical strategies. For example, a role-playing activity where interns will get to practice with each other, discussing their feedback instead of having to go straight to their supervisor and discuss the feedback that they got. They can practice role-playing that with a fellow intern first. We also incorporated more practical strategies, such as practice with them creating their own calendar using Google so that they can create their own daily schedule. I'll give you a second to look over this to see if you have any questions before we move on.
No, I don't have any other questions about that. This is very clear.
Okay, great.
Hi, Diane. So I'm here to talk to you about the implementation of how we're going to do it. So if you see here, we're going to go first into the learner plan, then our facilitator plan, and then our agenda for the program. So as you mentioned, you guys are looking to have about 10 to 15 interns. They're typically 18 to 30 years old. Some of them already have some type of knowledge in their coursework, but lack that practical experience. And then some of them have participated in part-time jobs, volunteer work, or other extracurricular activities in their field. Most of these students are going to be undergraduate or graduate students, but they're all going to be within those different academic disciplines within the university system of Georgia. So this, as we've mentioned before, is going to be a 10-week training over the summer, but we still will offer hands-on check-ins throughout their intern, throughout the duration of their intern. So they'll be notified through email once they accept the intern. Once they're accepted into the program, they'll be notified among this training. And then all of the instructional materials will be sent out via Google folder. And then we'll send those email reminders at least 2 and 1 week before, so that the students, the interns, are aware of when we're going to start and that they can have all the links that they need. Okay. Each day or each session, there'll be a Google form sign in for the tracking. There also will be a sign out evaluation survey, as we've mentioned before. And for our facilitator, the facilitator will be the HR trainings that you all already have, and the development specialist. Okay. So did you see any questions here or anything that stuck out?
No, I don't think so. I think it's very helpful just again, the interactiveness of it all and having the prep, and giving them the tools that they need during that session with Lisa. I think that's hitting it on the button there.
So this is a
Cool.
sample agenda for day one. And I think it aligns with the objectives that we've already shared before. So this is an imagine the synchronous option to where we're working together. So when we first come on, the facilitators get to introduce themselves. We'll do an icebreaker activity. There'll be, we'll explain the course goals, the expectations in our weekly agenda. Then the interns will get their placements for where they'll be interning over the next, the course of the intern. They'll be introduced to their project supervisors and they'll be given their job descriptions. Right. Then after we go into that, we'll discuss the organizational procedures of the USO, its cultures, and the intern expectations and responsibilities. We'll give them a quick break, allow them to take care of anything that they need to take care of. And then this is the fun part of it. I know you mentioned that there was a lack of collaboration throughout the program. So here now we give them the opportunity to go into breakout rooms where they'll have this hands-on guided practice where they'll be able to meet with their specific department and their respective project supervisors and discuss activities that are going to be specific to their department, what they're going to be doing on the day-to-day. Okay. Then we'll give them another break where, because we're online, they'll be able to enjoy lunch on their own. We'll come back after lunch. Then the participants will view a video presentation of current employees and where that video will introduce the culture, procedure, and the current functioning of the USO. Then they'll go back to their breakout rooms and within their departments, they'll participate and discuss the current culture, where they fit in, and how they can improve that culture. Then they'll do their evaluation feedback activity for the day, and that'll be through a Google form, a Google link.
Great. Looks really comprehensive.
Man. Day two is a bit more of the same, but so we're going to start off just reviewing the activities, and then they're going to jump straight into that hands-on working with the department. We really want the interns to be able to know what is going to be expected of them before they start. And they have this hands-on the guidance of their project supervisors. They're able to sit down with them and work through some objectives, and then we'll be able to check in on them as the process continues. So most of day two is really just getting that hands-on, the opportunity to be hands-on and work with their project supervisors.
That sounds good. A lot of the struggle we have right now is really the supervisor's engagement with the interns and how to structure that. So this provides a lot more structure to that portion of the program that we're currently doing. That sounds good.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. So the next part of the complete proposal would be our evaluation plan. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that. And it really just provides you guys an overall view and ability to have the learners provide feedback to you, and which in turn you guys can provide that feedback to us, and we can decide moving forward if we would like to keep the program in the same structure, if there's parts of it that we can modify and change, or if, what things went well and how we can highlight those things. So the evaluation plan, it starts with 3 levels. So, it's a very comprehensive table that we look at, and it kind of gives us who, what, when, where, how, and why. And we look at these first 3 levels of perception, the learning, and the performance. So for example, if we look at level 1, when is this going to be evaluated? Who is it going to be evaluated by? First and foremost, by the course facilitator and the USO leaders. That's going to be the first level of evaluation. The second level would be administered by the course facilitator, would be the USO leaders. And then the third would be administered by the course facilitators, the USO leaders, the instructional supervisor, which would be the people that we bring in and the instructional designers. We would look at that all together. And then if you kind of, this chart it goes, you read it from left to right. If we start back at the top with level 1 perception administered by the course facilitators, how it's going to be the satisfaction survey, which again was previously spoken about, how at the end of each day they'll have a Google survey that they're able to fill out. And then if you look to level 3, by the end of it, there's going to be the interns are going to take a quiz or an exit ticket for the instructors to gauge knowledge and comprehension of the learner's view on their new role, which tells us a little bit about, how do they feel about stepping into their new role at the end of the course. And then the second part of that would be how learners would be evaluated at the end of the initial evaluation period of the internship. So again, we have multiple tools that we're going to use to kind of get an overall evaluation of how the program went and what improvements can be made. So on the next slide here, it's going to tell a little bit about, it's going to give an example of the instrument that we may use. So this one would be evaluating the content and the materials used. This would be done by the interns. And then the next one is actually about the course instructor. So it's going to give feedback for the interns on how their perception of the instructor and how, they felt that it went for them. And then the third part is just giving constructive suggestions and feedback. It gives the learners an opportunity to share, insight about how they felt the course went, what improvements we can make, or both of those, and also give recommendations, which we will use to really overall gauge how the program went in collaboration with you, and then moving forward, see how we want to proceed if we were to implement this program again, if we were going to tweak it or just kind of leave it the same. So that was a lot of information as far as the evaluation goes. And as far as the whole thing goes, do you have any questions before I move into kind of summarizing how it went and talking about how the next steps for us?
No, not really. I at this point, I think I've had a lot of clarification throughout the presentation from you all today. I do really like the evaluation piece. And I tell you that the piece that I typically see in a lot of training is just that perception piece. So the fact that we're drilling down and you're all drilling down on the next levels in order for us to prove the effectiveness of this, I think is very helpful. So getting it down to the performance and whether or not we really see a return on our investment in the intern. So this is really helpful. And I really like that portion of it. I just wanted to point that out. So thank you. But yeah, I'm really pleased and looking forward to providing you with our next steps, our decision about how we're going to move forward and how this might be implemented. And timing is perfect because we're ready for recruitment processes starting in the spring and looking to get our first cohort up and running for next summer. So timing is really well planned too.
Absolutely. And all the pieces are really intentional and very detailed so that we can get a really comprehensive idea of, what is going to give us the overall best return on investment. And so, yeah, absolutely. What we're looking at the end here is our endorsement, which would be the agreement between our internship program that we've created and you guys. I know that you were leaning towards the asynchronous model,
right?
But you can take your time and go back through our presentation and let us know. We're going to email this over to you, and when you've got it decided and worked out with your team, we would love to finalize your decision and take the next steps to move forward.
Okay, I appreciate it, and I thank you all. Excellent presentation, and you gave me a lot of things to ponder and think about and share with others. And I may reach out to one or more of you with questions I have if I receive questions from my team on any of the information shared here, but I need some time to consume it. So I would say give me about a week to 10 days if somebody wants to reach out to me, and we can close up and make sure we can get this rolling for the spring semester.
Absolutely. We'll follow up around that time frame. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to email any one of us.
Okay.
We are really excited to work with you and appreciate you taking time today to meet with us.
Thank you all.
Thank you.